At least 7 Palestinians have been killed in a coordinated series of raids and strikes carried out by Israeli forces in the occupied West Bank. That, according to the Red Crescent. The Israeli army says the operations carried out in 4 cities were designed to, quote, thwart terrorism in Jenin and Tulkarem in the northern West Bank. Let's get the latest on this from DW's Felix Tamsa, joining us live from Jerusalem. Tell us more about what we can say so far about these Israeli raids in the occupied West Bank.
Well, as you said, the Israeli army says it's active in the northern part of the West Bank to, quote, thwart terrorist activities. At the same time, it's been active in the West Bank for quite a while, virtually since the 7th of October, saying that there's a rise in terrorist activity. Several Palestinians have been killed, and this operation will go on in the coming days, and it remains to be seen what sort of scale the Israeli army plans for this sort of operation. As you said, it's also significant due to the fact that it combines air raids and foots on the ground, which hasn't been the case, I would say, before the 7th of October. So it remains to be seen how the situation develops.
As you say, we have seen operations of this kind since October 7th. What do you think is behind the timing of what we've seen overnight?
Well, while there aren't any indications from the Israeli army about the particular timing, the Israeli authorities have been reporting a rise in activities among militant groups in general, not only in the West Bank but also in the West Bank, also due to the tensions with Hezbollah in Iran. It remains to be seen how large this operation will become in the coming days. So that, given the tensions that remain and the negotiations for a ceasefire in Gaza.
Felix, stay with us for just a moment. I'd like to ask you about some other news. Israel's military has freed a hostage who has been held in the Gaza Strip by Hamas since last October. Qaid Farhan Alkadi, he was found alone in a tunnel in southern Gaza. Hamas, of course, thought to still be holding around 110 hostages, and about a third of those believed to be dead. Alkadi is the first hostage to be rescued alive underground. Let's take a look.
Free after 326 days in captivity. The Israeli military released this footage of soldiers bringing Qaid Farhan Alkadi back to Israel. His first stop, a hospital in the southern city of Beersheba for a checkup. Doctors say he's in reasonably good health, considering the circumstances.
He arrived at our emergency department, has underwent initial medical evaluation, appears to be in good condition, but anyone who was in tunnels for such an extended period of time is prone to significant medical problems.
Alkadi was working as a security guard on the border with Gaza when he was abducted by Hamas during the October 7 attacks. The militant group captured some 250 people in total. Alkadi was one of 8 members of Israel's Bedouin Arab minority that were taken. His family were waiting at the hospital when he arrived. His brother, overcome with joy.
We are happy. All the world is happy. Everyone. Thank God who brought us good news today after almost 11 months, in a way we could not imagine or dream of.
Meanwhile, since October 7th, the situation in the Gaza Strip has become more and more dire by the day. The UN says there's a severe food shortage and has highlighted the risk of a polio outbreak. And the number of civilian dead in Israel's campaign to destroy Hamas continues to grow. The territory's Hamas-run health ministry says well over 40,000 people have now been killed by Israel's offensive, a number that combines militant and civilian deaths. The ministry says on Tuesday alone, Israeli airstrikes killed at least 18 people across the Strip, 8 of them children.
Let's get back across to DW's Felix Tamsut in Jerusalem. Felix, how are families of other hostages reacting to this news?
Well, there's certainly a sense of joy and happiness here in Israel, not only when it comes to hostage families, but generally in the general population. The headquarters of the hostage families have released a statement saying that while they're very happy to hear that a hostage has been freed, that this cannot be applied to the other 108 hostages currently still being held in Gaza, and that a hostage deal is still the best way to go in terms of bringing them home. The negotiations are taking place. But at the same time, it seems like the negotiations for a ceasefire and a hostage deal are not likely to provide a breakthrough anytime soon, mostly due to the issue of the so-called Philadelphia corridor in the border area between the Gaza Strip and Egypt, which Israel refuses to give up on in terms of soldier presence. So it remains to be seen how this develops in the coming days.
And we will, of course, have coverage for you of those developments in the days ahead. Thank you so much. That is DW's Felix Tamsut in Jerusalem.